My family ignored me for years. At Thanksgiving, I casually mentioned my $160 million fortune. My sister's jaw dropped, and my dad just stared in silence. Imagine sitting at the Thanksgiving table with the same family that ignored you for years. The same people who treated you like background noise in your own home. Then, between the mashed potatoes and pumpkin pie, you casually reveal that you're worth $160 million. And suddenly, the room goes silent. My sister's fork froze midair. My dad just stared. My mom blinked like her contact lenses had dried out. What happened next? Well, let's just say karma arrived wearing stilettos. If you've ever been underestimated, ignored, or treated like you didn't matter, then buckle up. This is the story of how I went from the invisible child to the woman who made her entire family rethink every choice they ever made. Hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready for one of the most emotionally satisfying revenge stories you'll hear today. My name is Lily, and if I had to pick one word to describe my childhood, it would be silenced. Not abused, not neglected in the traditional sense, just invisible. My older sister Sophie was the sun, moon, and every star in my parents' sky. I, apparently, was space. Just empty darkness around her glow. I remember being 9 years old when the first real crack in my childhood formed. It was Sophie's 18th birthday. My parents were buzzing like bees on espresso. They kept whispering about a surprise. When they rolled a shiny new BMW into the driveway, Sophie screamed so loud the neighbors peeked out their windows. My mom cried tears of joy. My dad kept saying, "She deserves it, our brilliant Sophie." And me, standing there in my secondhand t-shirt, the one with the tiny bleach stain near the hem, I suddenly felt like I took up too much space just by existing. I didn't say anything. I just swallowed the feeling and smiled. That became my talent, swallowing things. My parents sent Sophie to a prestigious private school, complete with manicured lawns, marble hallways, and kids with last names that sounded like law firms. Me? I went to the public school across town where the textbooks were older than I was, and half the chairs wobbled. When I asked why, they didn't even try to hide it. My mom said, "Sweetie, Sophie just excels better in structured environments." My dad said, "Be grateful. Public school is good for building character." I wanted to ask, why doesn't Sophie need character? But again, I swallowed it. While Sophie took violin lessons, fencing classes, and 3 different summer vacations a year, I found my own escape: coding. It started with an old, half-broken laptop a teacher was going to throw away. I took it home, opened it up, watched YouTube tutorials, and taught myself how to fix it. Then I started building things: simple games, clunky websites, tools that automated useless tasks. It made me feel visible, at least to myself. When college decisions came, Sophie got into Yale. My parents threw a party, a real party, catered. I got a full merit scholarship to the University of Connecticut. My dad's response? "That's nice, honey. Less tuition for us to worry about." For the record, they paid 0% of my tuition. During college, I worked 3 part-time jobs while building my first real tech project, a supply chain optimization tool. My first payout was $6,500. To me, it felt like winning the lottery. I called my mom to tell her. She said, "Oh, that's nice. Sophie just performed at Carnegie Hall." It wasn't even a competition. I wasn't playing the same game. After college, I went all in on my idea. I founded SupplySync, a platform that made logistics faster and cheaper for small businesses. I worked 18-hour days, slept in my office, ate ramen, and drank enough coffee to kill a horse. Meanwhile, my parents still asked every holiday, "So when are you getting a real job?" My own mother once introduced me to her friends as, "This is Lily. She's working on some computer thing. We're hoping she finds something stable soon." I wanted to scream. But you know what I did? I swallowed it. And I kept building. 2 years later, Supply Sync hit its first $1 million quarter. I hired a team, then investors, then more developers. By 28, I received an offer to acquire Supply Sync for $280 million. I accepted. My cut, after taxes and equity, was a little over $160 million. I stared at my bank account for a long time. Not because of the numbers, but because I suddenly realized none of it would matter to my family, not unless it benefited Sophie. That's when something inside me clicked, a switch I didn't know existed. I wasn't looking for validation anymore. I wanted closure. I hadn't been home for the last 2 Thanksgivings. So when my mom called with her usual guilt trip voice, "It would mean so much if you came," I said yes, not out of love, but curiosity. I wanted to see if anything had changed. Spoiler, it hadn't. I walked in the door and was met with the same old routine. Mom hugging Sophie first, Dad asking Sophie about her latest accomplishments, Sophie bragging about her music career like she was headlining Madison Square Garden. Me? I was greeted with, "Oh, Lily, you made it. Grab a plate, sweetheart." Not even a question about my life. During dinner, they talked over me every time I opened my mouth. Sophie interrupted me 3 times. At one point, she said, "Lily, you wouldn't understand. This is more of a Yale-level conversation." I laughed. A slow, dangerous laugh. The kind that tasted like smoke and long-buried resentment. That was the moment, the final straw. My dad turned to me halfway through dinner and asked, "So Lily, you ever find that stable job?" I set down my fork. My heart didn't race. My palms didn't sweat. I wasn't nervous. I was ready. "Actually," I said calmly, "I sold my company." Sophie smirked. "Oh, like an Etsy shop?" "No," I said, "a tech company, Supply Sync." My mom blinked. "Supply what?" "Supply Sync. I built it 5 years ago. It sold this summer for $280 million. The room froze. Sophie's fork literally clattered onto her plate. My dad opened his mouth, closed it, opened it again. I continued just as casually. My share after taxes was about $160 million. Silence. Thick, heavy silence. It was one of the most satisfying sounds I've ever heard. My mom was the first to recover. "Lily, sweetie, why didn't you tell us? We could have celebrated." I tilted my head. "Like you celebrated Sophie's BMW? Or Yale? Or Carnegie Hall?" My dad cleared his throat. "Well, now that you're successful, maybe you could help the family business." "No," I said immediately. Sophie jumped in next. "Do you think you could maybe invest in my music career? I mean, family helps family." I stared at her. For the first time, I didn't see her as my rival. I saw her as someone who had been spoon-fed her whole life and genuinely didn't know who she was without applause. "No," I repeated. "I'm not funding your lifestyle." Their faces went pale. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't gloat. I didn't rub it in. I simply stood up and said, "For years I tried to be seen, tried to be enough, but I finally learned something. You don't need to see me, because I see myself now. And that's more than I ever got here. I grabbed my coat, walked out, and left them sitting in the stunned silence they'd earned. They didn't call for 3 days. But when they did, I didn't answer. I didn't need them anymore. Not their approval, not their attention, not their validation. I wasn't invisible anymore. Not to me. The reveal, their frozen expressions, the silence so heavy you could slice it. That moment was the payoff. Not because I was rich, but because, for the first time, they were forced to see me. Every ignored achievement, every downplayed success, every moment I swallowed my own pride, it all resurfaced in that one perfect second. Their shock was my justice. Sometimes the best revenge isn't yelling or fighting or proving someone wrong. It's becoming someone you're proud of, with or without them. Money didn't fix the past, but it did give me clarity. Being seen by others is nothing compared to finally seeing yourself. If this story hit you in the heart, smash that like button and subscribe for more real-life revenge stories. And tell me in the comments, have you ever gone from underestimated to unstoppable? I'd love to hear your story.